Hi everyone, Mr. Silva here, and this is the recording for Module 2, HTML5 Coding, lesson number 5. Alright, in the last lesson we talked about block level and text level elements, markup elements that affect an entire paragraph or multiple paragraphs. We call those block level elements, and elements that can affect something small such as a character or a word are called text level elements. We talked about the paragraph tag, the break tag, and the standalone non-empty break tag. But we don't use that last one too much. You can if you want to. All right, let's talk about heading levels. Most documents have at least one heading, and headings allow for the start of sections, and headings also draw attention to the text. You may remember that we go from H1 to H6. Heading 1 is large and in bold font, and HTML has 6 heading styles. Heading tags are container tags, just as a reminder. H1 is the biggest, and H4 is the same as normal text, like if you were to use a paragraph. H5 and H6 are smaller than normal text and should be used sparingly. I would suggest that H5 and H6 is, how some websites will have the legalese at the bottom of the page to let you know that, certain legal information. H5 and H6, that's what that is. But again, use those sparingly because you want your users to be able to read the text. Headings have paragraph breaks before and after. You don't have to put a break in if you don't want to, but if you need more space, you certainly can. No header element should ever be placed within paragraph tags. So what that's saying is you do your H1 and then you do a paragraph tag. Don't ever put an H1 element within a paragraph, or otherwise it's going to completely give you not what you want. Alright, as a reminder, this is H1, normal text, H2, normal text, all the way down. Because remember, H4 we said it's about the same. H4 is still a little bit bolded, but it's not as much. And then H5 and then H6 all the way down. Alright, let's talk about nesting. Okay, this is something that a lot of people have issues with. It comes with practice. And as you found out, you'll often use multiple sets of tags. And when you place a pair of tags in a pair of tags, that's called nesting. You nest them within each other. Good nesting involves opening and closing tags within the tags. So, for example, the correct way to do that versus the incorrect way to do that. The incorrect way would be your H1 opening tag and then your emphasis tag, and then you close out the H1 tag. What that's essentially saying is you have a hanging tag right there, and it's not going to code properly, and it would be considered incorrect. Think of it this way. Your bigger tags, the ones that are going to make the most impact, have to go first, okay? You can code an H1 without an emphasis tag, but you can't code an emphasis without an H1, okay? You have to think about what's the bigger issue here and what's the bigger tag that's going to make the most difference. If you don't nest properly, your page may not code properly. And remember, heading tags are never nested in formatting tags. However, formatting tags can be nested in heading tags. All right, the pre-tag. Sometimes you'll need to use, it's not so it should be used, formatted tags. The pre-tag, all line breaks and spacing will be displayed in the browser exactly as they appear in the original text. This is a container tag, so pre is required, the closing tag. What this is essentially saying is that if you use a pre-formatted text, any line breaks and any spacing you put in the browser will appear exactly as in the original text. So what it's saying is that if you put a pre-tag in, if you press enter in your code, when you validate the web page or you put the web page online, it's going to look exactly the same. You wouldn't need to put a line break because it would already be there automatically for you because you did so in your coding. Okay, but we don't really use this because it can get really crazy, and you want to be able to develop it the way that you want to develop it. Indenting and centering. To use center, you would need to use the CSS3 tag of p_style equal text hyphen align colon center and then your text. And you'll also want to use this for formatting an HTML file. CSS, unless you code it specifically, will not do your center alignment of text. If you only want a certain section center aligned, then you would need to code it properly or code it like this. So if you wanted the whole paragraph to be like that, but you only want one paragraph to be like that, you would need to do it like this, okay? Some other tags to be, well, to mention here, the block quote. This indents a block of text, and it's usually used for quotes. And block quotes are not to be nested in P or H1 tags. They're to be their own separate tag. Some other tags. These are the tags that you need to know. The paragraph tag, the H1 through H6, the block quote, and then if you want to do your text alignment. You could also use, instead of center, you can do left and you can do right. All right, some text level elements. Remember, these affect a section of text. It can impact a single character or it can up to a whole page. First one, bold and italic text. We use strong and emphasis. We don't really want to use underline because of the fact that if you do underline text, it does look like it's a hyperlink. So caution there. You want to make sure you open the tag before your text and close the tag when you're done. Remember to think of it like a sandwich, as I always tell you guys to do so. Everything goes within the two things that you need to be coding. Phrase elements and font style elements. Strong and B, these are the older versions, and they both created bold text. Or rather, the strong and B both do the same thing. B is for bold, and it's the older version. We prefer you use strong. B applies to the font style, and strong indicates the text has a strong appearance. They both look bold, but you do need to know the difference that B is for bold font, strong is for strong appearance. B is a font style element, and strong is a phrase element. Phrase elements, as I just mentioned, these are used to describe words or phrases within a block of text. Okay, you have text level elements and you have phrase elements. Phrase elements do words or phrases within the text. Okay, so we have the emphasis, the strong, the DFN for definitions. That makes it in italics. Code for programming code examples if you want to put like a coding section on your website. KBD is for user keyboard text to be typed. So if you want to put space in for someone to input some information. SAMP, SAMP is for sample output, and then variable is for variable text in the program code. Now, I don't really go into detail about most of these because we don't really use them. However, if you are curious about them, you can research them yourself and find out more about them. Lastly, lists. We have the ordered list and the unordered list. You have your OL and your UL, and then you have the LI. Now, this is one that I know a lot of people have issues with and have trouble with, but when you make an ordered list, you have start with the OL tag, and then your LI items go within each. Okay? If you do OL and then OL to close it out, then you're just going to create individual lists. You want to make sure you code it like it has on the screen. It does take some practice, and you need to be very patient with it. Also, if it doesn't work out for you, you need to take some time to look at your code and see what you did incorrectly, and then try again. Okay, on the left is an ordered list, and over here on the right is an unordered list. Ordered means that it's numbered, unordered means that it's bulleted. All right, that's going to do it for this lesson.